Greetings, welcome to the channel, I'm EddieSetGo, and today we're commuting home on the Yamaha R7. Got the Yamaha R7 for 2022. Wonderful brand new sports bike from Yamaha. I have done a full review of the R7 on the channel, you can check that out, but I thought why not, let's do a commute home on the bike. So I've not really planned this commute video at all, but I thought I've got all my equipment, I've got an R7, let's make the most of it. So what we're going to do in this quick video is we're going to take some busy inner city roads and do the commute home through some busy inner city traffic, and hopefully then we can go hunt some corners, because that's what the R7 likes to do. I've just done my main review of the R7 earlier today, taking it out on the back country roads here in Lincolnshire, and it was absolutely exhilarating. Brought back a lot of memories of the R6 that I used to own, whilst also bringing back memories of the Tracer 700 that I used to own as well, and the MT-07 which I rode last year. It brings all the awesome memories of those bikes together in this really cool, stripped back, sport focused R7. This is fantastic. Just sitting on it, even though I've already ridden this bike earlier today and yesterday, it's just so cool because, you know, your butt's up in the air, you're leaning forward on these rather aggressive handlebars, and obviously when you're riding out on the outer roads, on the country roads, you've got the wind blast, you've got you know, a bit of wind deflection there to keep against your chest and take the pressure off your wrists a bit. But here on the inner city there is obviously lots of built up areas, you know, you're just kind of hunched over. What I've been finding is, as I'm not really used to riding a sports bike so much, I've been kind of clenching the fuel tank with my thighs and using my core a bit, engaging my core. But it's not really that bad, to be fair. Okay, let's start. Should we do some little cheeky lane splitting on the R7? One thing I did notice on my main review, and I commented on it, is the awesome turning circle on the R7. It's quite a practical sports bike. Some of these sports bikes have very narrow turning circles, so trying to maneuver them in and out of spaces, especially, you know, when you're off the bike, can be a right pain. But this is no, this is really nimble, and because the bike is so light, 188 kilos fully fueled, it's really an easy job to maneuver around at slow speeds, again, whether you're on or off the bike. Now, one of the shining light of this bike for me is that Crossplane 2 engine. It's an engine that I'm very familiar with, and you know, you sit on board the R7, it's sport focused, you're forwards, but you've got this wonderful, eager, full of character and forgiving Crossplane 2 engine beneath you. So you're not on it's not on a knife edge, this bike. You know, when you're revving up the engine, if you you know, make a mistake or you slightly pull the throttle too hard when you're working through these inner city areas, you're not going to you know, launch forward and hit the car in front of you or someone in front of you, or you know, it's a forgiving engine which allows you to kind of have a bit of room to make mistakes and grow your confidence. Even though the setup, the chassis and the handling is so knife edge performance, it's awesome, it's so cool, but the engine is incredibly forgiving. And I know that I did comment on my main review, some of you might consider the R7 a soft sports bike. I kind of beg to differ, really. You swing your leg over this thing and it is super focused. The engine is just a little different, really. 72 brake horsepower. The beauty of this bike is you can actually use all of those horses. It's an utter delight, really. Just pulling up to the lights here. Seat height on the R7 is 835 millimeters, and I'm 5'7", 5'8" inches tall. I can get both feet down on the ground, you know, balls of my feet down really comfortably. You might be able to flat foot now. I can't flat foot, but usually when I stop at the lights I put one foot on the peg and put the whole foot down, and because the bike is so light, it's just an easy job to stop in the traffic like this. The R7 does come with a slip and assist clutch, so the action on the left hand is rather light, and it is quite a big clutch lever. I probably would upgrade that or change that if this was mine for some nice little shorties perhaps. This is definitely a head-turning bike. People look at this machine, they glance over it, say, what is that? And then they realise, oh my god, it's the R7. I said, yeah. So in terms of, obviously, equipment on the R7, it's all very straightforward, very simple. There's no traction control or riding modes or launch modes or anything like that at all. It's just straight up twist the throttle and have fun with that engine. In terms of keeping ahead of the traffic, you're going to have no issues in any way, shape or form. If you're riding in the inner city, you have no issue staying ahead of everything. And because this bike is so narrow, you're going to be able to squeeze into places that bikers have never squeezed before. This is quite comfortable, really, considering when I first jumped on the bike I thought, my goodness, this is so focused. But now obviously been riding it for a day, this is quite nice, this is quite cool. I did comment, on my main review that you can actually, you can obviously gauge your core and all that, take the weight off your wrist if you want to. You can also put your forearm on the tank if you want to, on those longer stretches. But yeah, on these inner city areas, this isn't too bad really. The suspension on the R7 is quite firm, but it is forgiving. It's not as bouncy and rickety. I did find the MT-07 quite a bouncy and wayward affair sometimes. It was, it added to the charm of the MT-07. It was a little bit crazy, the MT-07, but the R7 feels a lot more planted, even under these bouncy conditions. And for me, I think it's the combination of the engine, the clutch. It's just, there's a softness right down this low end of the revs here. There's just a nice softness there, which gives you so much flexibility and confidence moving through the traffic. You've not got oodles of power, dying to get out on your right wrist. You can blip the throttle and you can get the engine working and just gradually put the clutch on and make small minor adjustments through the traffic. It is a really easy bike to ride. I am wearing, for commuters out there, obviously this is a commuting video, I'm obviously wearing a large backpack on my back. It's my Dainese backpack. You can probably see it there in the camera. In there I've got things like laptops and, well, not laptops plural, I've got a laptop and lots of other digital devices and books and all that kind of stuff for work. And yeah, it's quite a big backpack, and it is kind of sitting on the back of the pillion seat, so I can feel it there. So if you are going to be carrying a rather large backpack, especially when you're sat at the lights, you might feel that if Yamaha do a pillion cover, you might be scratching it if it's there. So just be mindful of that if you're carrying a big backpack on your back. Switchgears down here on the R7 are incredibly simple, and the indicator switch is a little bit higher than I'm used to on my other Yamahas. There's obviously a lot more buttons on my MT-09 SP, and so a couple of times when I've wanted to change or engage the indicators, I've hit the horn, which is just there on my left thumb. So just be mindful of that. But other than that, the switch gears on the R7 are incredibly simple and straightforward. There's not a lot to get fazed by or distracted by. It really is a simple, straightforward setup. But I love these little details, these little gills here in the tank. Yeah, one thing I did mention in my review is I'm going to say the exhaust notes, the loudness of the R7. And when I had my Tracer 700, I had the same kind of concern in that the bike was quite muted. The Crossplay 2 engine is a wonderful engine, but it can be quite muted with the stock exhaust. So what I did was fit an Arrow exhaust system onto my Tracer, and it really did bring up a nice kind of rumbling, thunderous tone. It wasn't obnoxiously loud to annoy people, but it just made people more aware. And I think in commuting, if I was going to be using the R7 every day, commuting like this through the traffic, I probably would fit something a tad louder, because the stock exhaust on the R7 is quite quiet, especially at these low revs as you're bimbling around the inner city areas. On the open stretches, it gets a bit louder, as you would imagine, but I think I definitely fit something a little bit more sprightly, shall we say. Yeah, it's third gear, 3,000 RPM. This bike is very, very smooth. I recently rode the CBR 650R from Honda, and in most gears, there was a tendency for the bike to be quite vibey. It vibrated quite a lot through the grips, through the pegs especially. And it was certainly something I would have addressed had the bike been mine, by fitting maybe aftermarket hand grips. Let's get Eddie. Look at that, instant power. Just pull this thing and woo, off you go. But it's not gonna tear you off the bar though. It's not gonna tear you off the bike. It's just instant lurches of friendly, awesome, fun power. Great. Yes, so the CBR 650R was quite vibey, but this bike is not vibey at all until you get about 8,000, 9,000 RPM, as you would expect on probably any bike. But up to now, especially around the city, no vibes at all. You're going to be comfy as a bear in a blanket. So let's see what this bike is like off the line. Just drop the clutch. Using the quickshifter on the R7, yeah, using the quickshifter is absolutely fantastic. You have to get the engine spinning up a bit, so get some RPM going, and then be using the quickshifter for maximum kind of efficiency. On the slow speeds, it can be a bit clunky, but because the slip and assist clutch is so light, I'm using that anyway on the slows. Saw someone then in my mirror. These mirrors, by the way, are really, really good. These mirrors are great. I was about to switch lanes. I thought I might switch lanes there, and I decided against it because I saw that van in my mirror was able to not make a mistake. So yeah, these mirrors are great for visibility. I think if I'm looking through the mirrors now, there's at least 2/3, 3/4 visibility. I can just see my arms, my wrists, and my forearms a tad. But again, adding to the practicality of the R7. It's not just a fun, exhilarating bike, but it's also a practical bike as well. Yeah, this is really cool for slicing through the inner city busy traffic. This is really good. Ooh, little cheeky dive in there. Like I say, you can sit back on the bike a bit. Very nice and comfortable. The fairing is outstanding for such a small, narrow fairing. It's very easy to go fast on this machine, especially when you tuck under. You kind of feel the tank on your gut. You put your chest against it, and put your helmet down and start looking through the bubble. It's very easy to go quickly on the bike, and because the engine doesn't feel like it's working as hard like the CBR 650R from Honda, you really have to get that thing going and vibing and revving in order for speed to happen. But with this, with the R7, this engine just ticks along nice and easily, and the next thing you know, you're hitting motorway speeds. And you're like, oops, let's keep an eye on things. See, like these kind of instances here, there's a lot of people that turn right just up here to go to the McDonald's restaurant. I want to go alongside this traffic, but I know this lady in front has her window down, but instances like this is where I'd like to have slightly louder exhaust just so people can hear me passing through. I'm just moseying through now, and I'm just starting to get a little bit of discomfort in my right hand, just because of obviously I'm not really used to the aggressive sports bike riding position on this machine. But I think I've been riding for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just stopping and starting through the traffic. Just starting to feel a little bit of discomfort, but I think over time, if you get used to the bike, you'll be able to get used to that. Maybe I need to get some weights and start doing some weightlifting, or other exercises that I could do with my right hand. You know what I mean? Dumbbells and stuff. Yeah, that kind of stuff. And away we go. Yeah, that's so good. Little notches, little lurches in speed as you flick up the boots on those gear changes. obviously I'm not hanging off the bike or anything in this ride, well, just yet anyway. I do so in my main review on those out-country roads, but so forgiving, it's so fun. Second gear, it really is such a fun gear when you're doing those tight corners and, you know, coming out of those junctions and things. You can put the power down, and the R7 won't throw you off. There's no immediate danger there. It's like the R7's like your bestest bud. Just wants you to get home safely, you know what I mean? But get home in style and get home with a smile on your face. That's what this bike's all about. And it's really cool. Do you know what, honestly, coming from the MT-09 SP, that my bike, very upright, it's very commanding, you know, I sit back and it's awesome and powerful, all of that stuff. And here we have this lower capacity, you know, light, nimble sports bike. There's just something incredibly appealing about it. Like I say, it's bringing back memories of my R6, while also bringing back memories of my Tracer 700. Yeah, just mentioned the quickshifter earlier. Coming up the box, you can use the quickshifter, but coming down, you've got to go manual and engage the clutch and obviously match your revs and everything. It's just an uppy on the quickshifter, which isn't an issue. Even on my my SP, which has an up and down, I still, you know, use my clutch coming down the box. I like to hear the engine, you know, make noise. You know, under hard, you know, deceleration and braking, and I'm really grabbing hold of the front brake. That's when I'll, you know, just stomp down on the box to go down the gears with the quick shifter. But no, it's not a problem on the R7. Up the box is fine. And this one does come fitted with it. You can get it fitted for about £130 at your local Yamaha. I think the part is 130, probably about 150 quid to get the quick shifter fitted, which I think is it's a nice convenience to have, isn't it? Just gonna nimble. Just second gear like that. You can easily just coast and tick along in second gear like this. Just let the bike coast along in second gear. I'm not even doing any throttle here. Just the bike just ticks along, second gear, chug, chug, chug. It's so easy. Whereas other big bikes, you know, you'd be, you know, worried about knife edge power kicking in and throwing you off. But no, you just let the bike just bimble through, and then you can just like squeeze through. I don't think I can squeeze through here though. It looks a bit tight, even for the R7. Oh, he's letting me through. Oh, isn't that nice? You're a nice chap. Thanks, buddy. Let's go through. Oh, this thing's awesome. You can squeeze into the tightest places. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's great. Again, it's not the most powerful machine I've ridden, but it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. So after this commutey bit, I'm determined to go the long way home, and that's going to involve some little twisty bits. So do stay tuned if you'd like to see some twisty bits on this video. Let's put the power down. Again, these roads here are a little bit dicey. Luckily, I do know where the nasty bits are. Over the rise. Again, really badly well kept roads. Oh, that's horrible. But the R7, it handled it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Nice bit of tarmac bit here. And here's second gear. Feel that back end just squirm a little bit. Oh, that's brilliant. When you get these corners just right into the right gear, the right amount of engine braking happening, the right lean. Oh, this is fantastic. Just drop it down a bit. Get over. Oh yeah. That's great. This bike is so slim. It's so, but the seat is quite wide and accommodating, so there's loads of room for you to move. The pegs are high, lots of ground clearance there. Car in front. Just gonna take it a bit slower. Bring it around. And there you go, people. I do hope you've enjoyed this quick commute home the long way round, and it's been a very pleasurable and fun ride home on the R7, which is what motorcycling should all be about, shouldn't it? Not so much you know, ludicrous amounts of speed and power, which is always fun at times, for everyday stuff, you know, for everyday adventures, everyday work, everyday life. The R7 could certainly add a big dollop of fun into your day. So yes, I do hope you enjoyed this quick commute home on the R7. It's been an absolute delight. I hope I've illustrated how practical and fun this bike can be, slicing through the traffic. If you have enjoyed this quick video, please give a thumbs up to support the channel. Your support is always appreciated. And make sure to subscribe to see more bike videos. In the meantime, I've been EddieSetGo. I hope you ride safe and stay safe. See you next time.